Jai Hind. Myself Pradeep Kumar Tripathi, Assistant Professor in Department of Information Technology. Today we have discussed about the Python programming series and lecture 5. Last lecture we have discussed about the list. Now we have discussed about the next data structure that used in Python programming, that is tuple. In the list we can store the multiple data item in a single variable. That is the property of a list. But in the tuples, we can also store the multiple data items in a single variable. Tuples is one of the 4 built-in data type Python, like list, set and dictionaries. But property has been changed from the list. In the list, we can change the data items in particular list. But in the tuple, we cannot directly change to the data item in the list. Now, what is the definition of a tuple and how the tuples can be used, how it is used in the Python programming, we can discuss in later. First of all, discuss about the definition part. A tuple is a collection which is ordered and unchangeable. Unchangeable in some other books or in other websites that are mentioned immutable. Immutable and unchangeable both are the similar things. So tuple can be stored data item in a ordered manner. Ordered manner means that can be stored from the starting to end, either end to starting. And what about unchangeable? Unchangeable means we cannot modify the data item in a particular tuple. We cannot directly change to that particular data item. We can change with the through of a list. First of all, we can convert the tuple into the list, then we can change the data item. So tuples can be write with the round brackets, and the tuples items are ordered, unchangeable and allow the duplicate values. The tuple items are indexed. The first data items has an index 0 and second data item has index 1, further so on 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like an array. Ordered, we can say about the tuples are ordered, it means they have defined an order, we cannot change the order. Unchangeable, I have already discussed about the unchangeable, that means we cannot change the value or remove the data items after the tuple created. Allow the duplicate value means that tuples have a item with the same value. We can store the one value more than one times in a tuple. And in the tuples, we can find out the length of the tuple, what the function we can use. The function, that is length function, we can use in the to find out the tuples length. How we can create with one item with the tuple? To create a tuple with only one item, you have to add comma after the any items, otherwise Python will not recognize is a tuple. Like this one example. We have a tuple equal to round brackets, double quotes, apple, and also give the comma. If I am not giving the comma, then it will not recognize as a tuple. It will not tuple, it is a string. Python will recognize the as a string if this one and this one. We have defined the tuple and we cannot use the comma, and print statement what the value of first and what is the value of second. In the first value we can recognize as the tuple. In the second value we can recognize as the string part. So if we do not use the comma, then it is recognized as a string. So we can create the tuples with one item also. We can use the tuple data items, data types. We can use data types string, integer, boolean data type also we can use in tuples. Suppose tuple 1 that is contain the a string type, and second tuple is contain the integer type values, and third tuple can contain the value of boolean types. So tuples can be stored different data types, and we can also access that particular data items in a tuples. We cannot use any other data type. We can use tuples for accessing the multiple data items. So we can combine these statements. We can say that a tuple can contain different data types. Suppose we have an example of tuple with a string, integer and boolean values. We can also combine all these three data types in a particular single tuple. We can define the tuple with a string, integer and boolean values also. So tuple 1, suppose we have defined the tuple 1, we can use a string, we can use the integer value, we can use the boolean value, and we can also give the print statement. This statement will print on the screen. So summary of this particular topic is tuples can contain different data types. You can use the similar data types, you can use different data types. So tuple gives the facility to use different data types in a single tuple. How to access the tuple data items, how we use from the tuple data item, and how we convert it from the when we require to change the tuple data items, then we can convert the tuple into the list, and after the converting the tuple into the list, then list converted to the change the data item, and then list converted to the tuple. So first of all, access tuple data items. You can access tuple data item by referring the index number. We can give the index number in the print statement, then that will be print on the screen. Suppose tuple, we have a tuple apple, banana and cherry. This is the example of single tuple, and we can also print the statement of tuple 1. So it is like that. So we can print this statement, then print tuple 1 means we can print the value of banana. We can print the value of banana. Negative indexing, we can use negative index number in a tuple. We can give the negative index. What do you mean negative index? Negative index means we can starting from the end. Suppose we have a list item 1 to 5 and giving the negative index number, then started from the end, not started from the first. Suppose we have referring first, then this is called last item. Suppose we have referring -2, that is refer to the second last item. For taking the example of this particular negative indexing, suppose we have printed the last statement of the tuple. How we implemented in the Python programming. So we can use the tuple. Actually we have defined the tuples apple, banana and cherry. We have a tuple, and we have passed the value of tuple -1. What is the value of tuple -1? That is the last index number. So it will print the last items in a particular tuple. What is the last item? Last item is cherry. So output is cherry. Suppose we have given the in the place of -1, we can put the -2. What is the value of -2? Suppose we have given the -2, then it will give the banana. Suppose it will give the value of -3. What is the value of -3? That is apple. So we can apply negative index number in a tuples. We can also use the some specific range in a tuple. Suppose we have defined the 0 to 5 or 2 to 5 or 1 to 5, how it is implemented. We can use the range function. We can use in list also, but in the tuple we can also use the range function for the printing the range values. Suppose we have a tuple of 5 items or 7 items and we want to print 2 to 5 or 3 to 5 or 1 to 5, then we simply pass the range of that particular value. How it is implemented? Take an example. Suppose we have a tuple of these items: apple, banana, cherry, orange, kiwi, melon and mango. These is the tuple, one of the tuples, and we want to put the value of, we want to return the value of third, fourth and fifth. How it is implemented? Then we want to we will put the print tuple 2 to 5. How it is implemented? We put the 2 colon 5 in the square bracket and take in the print simply. So what is the output of this particular range? This will give the range of 2. Suppose indexing is 0, indexing is 1, index 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6. This is the index number. So what will pass in the tuple? I will pass the tuple in 2 to 5. So what is the output of 2 to 5? It will take in the output of cherry and then orange, then kiwi. Why we not print fifth index melon? Because in the range function we will put the value only before last index. Suppose we have passed the 5, so print only 4. That means if I will put the range 2 to 5, then what is the output of 2 to 5? It will print the second item, third item and fourth item. We will not consider the fifth item, because if I am specify the range, then we do not include the last range value. Suppose we have put the range value 2 to 4, then what is the output of 2 to 4? That means consider the 2 and 3 only, not consider 4. So we can exclude the last range value, right? Now taking the first example, another example. This is the example that return the items from the beginning. Suppose how will it print? We can define this particular tuple and we will pass the print statement tuples, and we will not give starting index. We will not give in the starting index. So what will the value of starting index? By default it will take the 0. So that means if I will define this type of a statement, then what it does mean? It does mean we will define 0 to 4. It does mean this 0 to 4. 0 to 4, what is the output of 0 to 4? Then 0 to 4, that is the output of apple, banana, cherry and orange. Why will not include the fourth index? Because in the fourth index we have a last index of the range, so we can exclude the last index of the range. So this will give the output of range index. Now we will give the range in a negative index. We will also discuss about the negative index and we will use in range. How it will implemented? Then if we want to search an item from the last of the tuple, so how it will excluded, how it will included? We can take the example of negative index in the particular range. Suppose this is example that returns the item from index -4 included to -1 excluded. Suppose we have a list tuples of these particular items and we want to print from ending of the list. So we can pass -4 to -1. How it will work? -4 to -1. -4, that means mango is -1, melon is mango 2, -3, -4. That means this is the -4 index and this is the -1 index. So what is the output of this? This will give the print orange, kiwi and melon. We do not include the -1 index because it has the property of range function. We can exclude the last value of the range function. So it will give the output of orange, kiwi and melon. So this is the range function that we'll use in tuple. How it is implemented, we have discussed about the range index and range negative index. Now when we want to require to particularly determine a specific data item present in a tuple or not, how it is implemented, how it is used in particular tuples. Suppose we have a target of determine any particular data item in a tuples. How it will be checked? We can define the particular tuple and apply if apple in this tuple print s and apple is in the fruit list or fruit tuples. We will check about by using the if statement, right? Now most important topic of a tuple, that is change the value of tuple, because the tuple's value cannot be changed by according to the definition of a tuple. In everywhere we can mention about the tuple, tuples is created but cannot be changed after the creation. So tuples are immutable, either unchangeable. So how it will convert? If I am required to change the data value of tuples, either I want to remove the data value in the tuple. How it will work? Because its property says that it will not change, it will not remove any list, any data item in a particular tuple. So first of all, we can convert the tuple into the list and change in the list and then convert list back into the tuple. That means three processes can be carried out. First, we can change the tuples to list and required changes we can perform, required change we can perform, and after required change we can also convert list to tuple. This is the procedure that will follow in particular list to change the tuple values. How it will work? We can use convert into the tuple into the list. It will change it. X is equal to apple, banana and cherry, and Y is list X. Y1 is equal to kiwi, and we want to convert banana value to kiwi value. So how it will work? We can change by this statement. Y is equal to list X, yani that means tuples can be changed into the list and we will put the change value into the list. Y is the list, we can change the kiwi or the first position, and then after changing the value of particular list, then we can also convert list into the tuple. X is equal to tuple Y, and that means Y is a list and that will be converted into the X. X is a tuple. So print that X, then value should be changed. This is the procedure by which we can change the tuples data items in a particular tuple. So if we add data item in a tuple, how it will use? Once a tuple can be created, you cannot add data items into the tuple. So what is the procedure? Again, we can convert the list into the tuple, and tuples we can change the list, and after change the list we can also convert the list into the tuple, and after the tuple we can print easily. So how it will work? We can take an example. Suppose we have a list of this tuple and we can add one data item, that is orange, but this will give the error. If we directly use tuple dot append, then it will give the error. It will not work. So what is the procedure? Procedure is, previously we have discussed about how we'll change the data item in a tuple. Then we will also use in this particular topic that method also. Tuples, we have defined the tuples. After converting tuple into the list, this is the statement that convert tuple into the list, and y dot append orange, we can change the value or we can add data items in a particular list. And after the changing the value, we can convert tuples into the tuple. Sorry, we can convert list into the tuple, and after conversion we can print easily. So this way we can add any data item in a particular tuples, and we can change or we can remove the data item in a tuples. What do you mean by unpacking of a tuple? When we create a tuple, we can normally assign value to it. This is called packing of a tuple. We normally creating the tuple and assigning the value to the tuple. That is called packing of a list. What is the mean by unpacking of a list? Python gives the facility to allow extract the values back into the variable. This is called unpacking the values. Unpacking means we can extract the value into the variables. Suppose we have a fruits variable and fruit tuple, and define fruit tuple apple, banana and cherry, and we will put that value into the variables A, B and C. That means we will define the variables A, apple to A, banana to B, cherry to C, and print these statements. That means we can extract the data items in a tuple to the variable. This is the facility to give in Python programming in tuple only. So this is called unpacking. Suppose we have assigned the rest of value called list red, and we want this. This is another example to add particular data item. Now we will discuss about the loop through a tuple. What is loop? Looping can be done same as the list by the for, range and while loop. We also use this particular loops in a Python. In the Python, we can simply use these three types of loop: for loop, range and while loop. If loop, if else loop also use. If we want to join the two tuples, how it will work, how it will use? We can join the two or more tuples with the help of plus operator only. Simply we will put plus operator between the two tuples. Easily we can add two tuples. Suppose we have a joins the two tuple. One tuple is this, one tuple is this, and after these tuples we can add on by using plus operator and print the statement tuple 3. This is the output of tuple. So we can easily add the two tuples by using plus operator. And when we use multiply tuples, how it will work? It will simply work with the into sign, multiple sign. Multiply sign we can easily use, and multiplied by, suppose we have a list of 3 items and we want to repeat that particular item in a particular tuple. So how it will work? We can easily multiply by 2, then it will give the output, required output. Suppose how it will done? We will define the fruits and we will use fruits into 2 and print my tuple. This will give the output of this particular tuple. So we can multiply also, and we have also some methods that we will use in tuples. Count and index. What is the count and index? Count is the variable, Count is the method that will return the number of times a specified value occur in a tuple. So, how many times a variable can be appear in the particular tuple, we can easily find out by using the method of count. And what is the index function or index method? Search the tuple for a specified value and return the position where it was found. If we use this method, how it will work, how it will give the output, we will discuss in particular list. Suppose we have used this method, this will give the index number, this will give the count. This is the example of index. This is the example of count method. In this particular method, index method, we have used the fruits, and fruits we have three types of data items: apple, banana and cherry, and x is equal to fruits dot count and print cherry, and z is equal to fruits dot index cherry print z. And the fruits, what is the output of z, how it will give the output, and how it will give the particular in what is the output of x and what is the output of z. It will gives the how many number of times that will be used in cherry. So it will give the 1, and what is the output of z? What is the index number of cherry? That is 0, 1 and 2. That will give the 2. So we can easily find out the index number and count method. Index number and count method, we can easily find out the index number or index position of a particular data item. Either we can find out the data item in a list. In the tuples, we have taken example, suppose fruits. This is the give the output, and after the multiply by 2, we can replicate the values of this, right. So it is all about the tuples, and what is the use of the tuple, how we will implement it in the tuple. So we will stop this lecture, and we will continue in the next data structure set and dictionary. Thank you.